In my last video, I told you about different layers, okay, different aspects before you start a business, you know about it. So let me share with you the things you need to work upon in the domain of products and services and your customer avatar. Okay, so let's take an example to understand these. There are tons of domains and industries which falls under the category of products and services. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say you are in a service industry, or your offer is a service. Example, let's say you are into parenting domain. Okay, and in terms of product, maybe you are into designing. It could be fashion designing, it could be art, it could be anything else. So let's understand first the parenting domain. To understand first your service, you need to understand what kind of service you provide, which is related directly to your customer avatar. Okay, so two things will go hand in hand. So let's say you are taking care of the coaching or consulting aspect for the parents, okay, in the parenting domain. Now you need to understand parents of whom. Is it for the small kids? Is it for kids who are in the higher school level, or is it of teenagers? Okay, reason is, if it is for the small kids, the parents need to understand and need to handle the situations in a different manner. If the same kid is of teenage years, then the parents need to deal or understand the situations, their behavior, their words, everything needs to change accordingly. So first, you as a consultant or a counselor or as a coach, you need to understand parents fall into which category of having that children. Is it the small kids, medium, or the teenagers? Based on that, you need to understand what are the sets of problems they are having. So when you write it in the manner that you are in the shoes of your customer, like you are in the shoes of the parenting domain, or rather you are in the shoes of the parents. So then you write the questions accordingly. Example, it's so difficult to talk to my teenage daughter because it feels like there is a huge gap. She doesn't understand us, we does not understand her. These are the typical common words and statements used by the parents of teenage kids. So now what happens is, when you are writing down the problems, you understand what they are going through, what are the challenges they are facing, and what are the solutions they are looking for, right? So similarly, when you list down all the problems, then you come up with a framework which will share, or which will actually step by step take the parents, your customers or clients, through the process of from the problem to the solution. Here is another catch. Every parent's problems might not be same. Okay, so there you need to come up with a customized version of it. So once you understand this, you need to decide your framework or blueprint or your offer as the services, what you are going to offer as a consultant, what you are going to offer as a coach. Okay, based on the problems, you come up with the solution. You know your customer avatar, you know what are the problems they are having, and you know the solution. Okay, this is an example just related to the service industry, and like that there could be many. Now coming to the product industry. Let's say you're a fashion designer, okay? When it comes to fashion designing, there are tons of domains available, right? It could be like a bridal fashion designer, or you could be designing for the kids, you could be designing for the teenagers, you could be only designing for the teenage boys, okay, or girls separately, depending on what your area of interest are. Or you could be designing for just festivals, or you could be a celebrity fashion designer. It could be anything, but you need to first dissect out and come down to your specific area of domain or niche. Okay, the more you eliminate the things that are not required. So I am for all thing, you need to move out, you need to cut off. I am for all means you're for no one. Reason is, even if you say I make only designer lehenga or designer gowns or designer sherwanis, etc., only for weddings. That does not mean you will not get orders or inquiries for general occasions. You will get, okay? And you can, of course, make those as well. But it is not something you are advertising. You're not something promoting, but you are establishing an authority in your specific domain, okay? Now, based on this, you need to understand what are the desires or challenges your customer or client is facing, customer avatar. Always in your domain, it might not be a problem. It could be a want, it could be a desire, right? Why do people love wearing designer clothes? To feel good, right? To have a different experience of personality. When you wear something different, your confidence automatically shifts. It could be anything, right? Or you could be designing for plus size people, right? So it could be a very different niche altogether. So you need to understand what is your client wanting as a desire, want, or what are their needs. So based on this, just like the previous case, you need to write down the problems and from the shoe of your client or customer. And after that, you decide how you're going to design it, how you're going to pitch it, and how you're going to present it. All right. So hope this helps in terms of your products or services with respect to your customer avatar. And yes, when we are talking about customer avatar, the demographic and psychographic come into picture. Like, what are the age of your clients or customer? It needs to be in a specific range. What are their moods in terms of, what do they want, desire? What are the things that they like most, they dislike most? Like, what are the things the teenage kids hate or the parents of the teenage kids hate? What are the things that they like? Similarly, what are the stuffs that, let's say, the people opting for the wedding designer clothes like or dislike? And accordingly, you come up with the psychographic analysis and the demographic analysis. Which location is it? Tier 1 city, tier 2 city, etc.? Or is it like people who are going in a certain kind of English medium school, students of different other medium schools? What is it? So you can dissect and come down to various categories specific to your area of interest and your expertise as well, because based on that you can provide them the solution, and thus you can have your product or services along with the right kind of customer base. And this is very important because majority of the time people spend lots and tons of money into marketing, ads and everything, but they don't get results. One of the major factor is their targeting of the customer is absolutely incorrect, right? So think about it. The other sections I'm going to cover in the upcoming section. So do this homework, write it down, divide it, and see which category or which are the people, you can cater to, which is the domain in the market you can cater to. So see you soon. Take care.